Alright, so sorry about the abrupt end to the last part. My mic just stopped working. So at that point, it was like, well, I guess I better just end the video there. So sometimes it happens. I don't know why. Anyways, during that little time where I was just double checking, that everything was working fine, I was gonna go ahead and look up some info just to double check I make sure I do this right, because there is a way to actually have a very bad kind of game breaking bug if you do this a certain way. So you can either just full on just help one candidate, or you can actually try and do kind of both, sort of, where you actually try and do one and then you tell the other, no, the other candidate now has my trust, and try to basically betray them from within, be a double agent, like I said. So I looked it up just to double check on the Dragon Age wiki, because that's where, if you want any information about how to do certain things, walkthroughs, bugs, notes, anything, it's all there. And so I pulled it up just to kind of double check how to go about this, just so I can try and avoid this. So I think what I want to do is I actually want to do the proving, because I've shown you guys on camera before what it was like, where you go to the Tig in order to get the lords there to do that. But I didn't show you what it's like to do the proving, which is actually kind of cool. Where the idea here is that you're going to be able to actually, go try and figure out what's going on with the blackmail and try and figure things out and try and fight in their name.
I've been hearing rumors that a certain wine merchant is falling behind on his payments.
I can't imagine what you mean. I pay my expenses.
What about the expenses your good friend Jarvia incurs when providing your protection? It's not easy ensuring nothing bad happens, that no one decides to just burn everything in your store.
My store! Please, I don't have much. Business isn't good. People are scared. Tell Jarvia I'll get her money.
Jarvia is not happy with your promises, old man. Now let's go inside and see what you've been holding back.
This is all I have right now. I could get more if I sell something.
Well, well, looks like we have a visitor. Friend of yours?
You get out of here. This is private business.
Looks more like extortion.
Please, don't get involved with this. You don't know what they're like.
Then allow me to make some introductions. These are dangerous times in Orzammar, stranger. Lucky us, the merciful Jarvia is offering protection from the chaos. You're wearing some fancy stuff there. Might make you a target. So
They can try.
the Carta's guarantee of safety, it's yours for the reason.
I don't need your guarantee.
10 gold sovereigns. Or I can't say what might happen.
Oh, I can tell you what would happen. You really want to start this?
Whoa, whoa. All right, you win. I'm not gonna die for 10 lousy sovereigns.
That's right, you better run.
Ancestors, bless you for saving my poor store. I don't know how to express my gratitude.
Well, I could look at your store.
I'm showing you the lowest prices I can afford, I assure you.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I've made a backup save. Just in case. Let's let Burkle know.
Andraste teaches that patience is the child of wisdom, but I'm eager to hear if you've seen the Shaper.
He has agreed to let you hold prayer meetings.
Oh, praise the Maker! You truly walk in the light, friend. I already found a convert among the merchants who offered his shop as a temporary chantry. It's just by the tapsters. Please, come to our first service.
Trust Vala, stranger. You must be the Grey Warden we heard about. Welcome to Tapsters. I'm Cora, your hostess. How may I serve you?
I'm looking for someone.
Aye? Maybe I can help.
Is Ogren here?
He should be by the trash barrel. Easy to spot. Everyone gives him a wide berth.
I mean, it's how the ancestors show their favor. Do they really need our help to decide who's worthy? And then he practically slapped me.
What do you want? Hey, I heard about you. Grey Warden, coming from the surface. Great crisis in the world. People are saying how you've thrown yourself on Harrowmont's wagon train. I figured you'd be the one, you know, who could help me find Branka. But I guess you're just like all the rest.
Oh, sorry. I was looking over the page on how to do this. I'll go ahead and read it for you guys in a moment here, just so you can know what the walkthrough says I have to do. All the rest of whom?
Power-hungry Deep Lords. The only real concern they have is whose ass gets the throne. You don't have to play dumb, Warden. Their lackeys only come to me when they want something. Well, if you want the secrets of a paragon, do the work and find her.
Makes some sense, you're drunk.
There, now that's the abuse I'm used to. I still don't trust you, of course. Your boss, he's like the rest of them. I know he's been poking around, trying to find things out about her, what she was looking for. Won't tell me spit, though. He wants it for himself, right? A little blessing from the Ancients' technology, and he's assured the throne. Is that it?
What technology?
You are looking for it. Of course, that's all anyone cares about. Well, sod off and sod your mother, too. I
Hey.
need a bleeding drink. You keep on your errands. Until your boss really commits to looking, you're getting nothing but smoke out of old Ogren.
Don't you be talking about my mother. Alright, so, according to the page, it says, alright, it lets me know about how it is. You know, after completing a Lord's Trust, the first task and meeting Lord Harrowmont, it is possible to shift allegiances to Balin. The Warden can also perform Prince's favor for Balin and then betray him to Harrowmont, which leads to shifting alliances. If the Warden had previously obtained the documents required from Gavorn, and then after championing Harrowmont in the provings, Vartag will then appear in the proving grounds and take the Warden to task for their betrayal. He can be persuaded that the intention was to betray Harrowmont from within, and will instruct the Warden to find out what Harrowmont requires next, and then come find him. If such and such is in your party, you'll get a disapproval. Note that if the Warden had previously accepted a Lord's Trust, the first task and informed Vartag of this task, then there will be no option to persuade him at this point. His patience will already have been exhausted. If, however, Vartag does not appear in the proving grounds after becoming a champion, it is still possible to activate the quest by talking to him in the chamber and telling him to hear you out. In order to persuade Vartag, improved coercion is required, and to choose the second persuade option as the first one will never be believed by Vartag. Lord Harrowmont will ask the Warden to wipe out Jarvia's cartel. Once this task has been obtained, find Vartag in the chamber and inform him. If he has already been persuaded by that the Warden wishes to switch sides, this will need to happen now. This option will only be available if Vartag has not already been encountered in the proving grounds. Vartag will encourage the Warden to take out Jarvia as Harrowmont requested. However, he will hand over some papers, quote-unquote, proving that Harrowmont's cousin Harvel is implicated in lyrium smuggling, but the Carta and Asathes are planted on or near Jarvia's corpse. Proceed with entering Jarvia's hideout and to the confrontation with Jarvia, and at the back of the room where Jarvia is encountered is a chest marked Jarvia's personal effects. Interact with this chest and choose the option to plant the documents. Find Vartag in the chamber of the assembly. or Orzammar Royal Palace if you did not speak to if you did speak to Harrimont, and he will grant an audience with Prince Balin. And then both Harrimont and Balin will request that the Warden enter the Deep Roads and seek out Branka. It is possible till the second one's spoken to that the first has asked the same thing, and to lie about who the Warden will eventually support requires no coercion skills in order to pass. And you know what I love about all this? None of this matters. None of this matters. This is one of the things I actually don't like about this whole portion of this quest line. Literally, none of this matters. You can do all this stuff for one candidate, and even at the very end, after you have gotten to the anvil and gotten the crown from either Caridin or Branka, you can still then choose the other one. So I could say do all this backing for Harrimont, everything for Harrimont, show him that I fully support him, and then still switch over, just give it to Balin. So it literally doesn't matter at all what we do here in this opening portion. The only thing that matters is us getting the quest from either one to go into the Deep Roads, find Branka, and then come back, and then we can choose who we want. That's all that matters. None of this other stuff matters. It's kind of ridiculous who you that who you back here has no bearing whatsoever when you get to that final scene. That just I would wish that wasn't necessarily the case. That all this actually meant something, that you would have to actually have who you back here actually mean something. You know? Just saying. Alright.
So I wonder, do you intend to take your mother's place now?
Take her place? What do you mean?
As the new Witch of the Wild. That was her title, no? When one slays the queen, it's assumed they'll take her throne.
Considering the throne is a small shack in the middle of a cold wilderness, I think I may just pass.
And why would you lie to me, I wonder?
Ah, is this the part where you hint at some subtle plot of mine? Because you are so very perceptive?
So you didn't know what your mother planned until you read it in that book. That's what you said.
That is correct.
I admire you. You are a wicked, wicked woman.
And you are a fool who spends far too much time on his hair. Ah,
Varric!
the highlight of underground existence, I take it.
This isn't actually, Varric. This is a separate Varric.
Watch for Piotr Naidukin. He's won the squad combat 4 years running. He has 11 decapitations so far. He needs just 3 more for the one-season record.
I don't know what to say to that about decapitations actually getting your reward. Isn't that nice? Now if you'll excuse me.
I'm telling you, Piotr will take the prize. You can put gold on it.
Okay, so... Find out why Basil won't fight. Basil Harrimont, one of Harrimont's fighters, has decided not to fight for Harrimont in the Provings. You should find out why. Find out why Gwydon won't fight in the Provings. Okay. So we'll avoid... Oh, there's Basil over there. We'll avoid talking to that guy for a bit.
Look, I already told the Proving Master I withdrew. Do you have to keep harassing me?
Who are you?
Why, I'm Basil Harrimont, but you know that. Why else would you... If you weren't looking for me, do me a favor and pretend I never said anything.
Who do you think I'm working for?
So I take it you weren't sent here to find out if I withdrew from the Proving. In that case, never mind.
If you tell me what's happening, I could help you.
Look, it's just, when I was younger, I had a thing with this Idukan girl, Revelka. Lesser cousin, nowhere near the throne. Her
Romeo and
family wanted
Juliet.
her marrying up, so they matched her with a BMO. But we didn't exactly stop seeing each other.
And now Balin's found out?
I thought we were discreet, but she's married to a Desher's heir. He'd kill me if he knew. So I have to slink out of here like some worthless brand for fear Balin will tell the whole city.
What evidence does Balin have?
They have letters. Love letters Revelka wrote me. If they were made public, she'd be disgraced. Her husband would cast her aside, and I would be lucky to be allowed to die in a duel.
Uh-huh. Did Balin threaten you himself?
No. One of his fighters, a woman named Miyaja, she's the one who threatened to expose me.
Would you fight again if your secret was safe?
There's no way to guarantee that. I appreciate the thought, but they really have me over a shaft here.
I can get those letters back.
You'd do that? I don't know how to thank you. I know it's my own fault, but I'd have married her if I could. If you can make sure that evidence doesn't get out, I'd be happy to fight in the proving. But you need to find them quickly. Registrations close once the first bout starts.
Do not disturb me. I must meditate before my fight.
Greetings.
Don't take it personally. Hana-shan's a member of the Silent Sisters. She doesn't talk to anyone.
What are the Silent Sisters?
They're an order of female warriors, founded by Astith the Grey, a woman of the warrior caste who first fought for women's right to be soldiers. When no one listened to her words, Astith cut out her tongue and dedicated herself to training until she won a grand proving bare-handed. The women who joined her order cut out their tongues in her honor.
Okay, whose side are you two on?
The Silent Sisters support the sitting king. They are loyal servants to the Idukans.
Then may both our efforts triumph.
May the ancestors choose their champion wisely.
You looking at something?
Get out of here!
I'll get on it.
Fine to see you here, Warden. A number of people have told me they hope to see you in the provings. It's a rare opportunity to fight against someone so exotically trained. In fact, a few were hoping you'd take part in some informal action.
You mean illegal?
Assembly restricted, not illegal. All that ritual lets nobles rationalize it's not a blood sport. They don't like commoners using the arena for petty squabbles. Some of us prefer an honest spectacle. And sometimes someone needs a good beating, and all that talking gets in the way.
What do you have in mind?
Say the word and I'll line up a team from one of the younger houses. They don't often get a chance to test themselves in the provings. They're a hungry bunch who employ unusual tactics. Understand that there's no concern for fairness here. Your battles will be hard won.
I'll come back later.
I'll be here.
Gweden.
You new in the fights? I don't remember seeing you before.
Well, I'm Robert of the Grey Wardens.
It's a pleasure. Sorry it can't be longer. Name's Guidon, and I just tendered my resignation. Somehow I don't think the ancestors will favor me today.
Why did you resign?
It's not so much what happened, as what's going to. I heard from a reliable source Lord Harriman's already given up the throne. Balin called this whole proving to let his lordship save face when he concedes.
Harriman is not conceding.
Oh? And where did you hear this? That's more reliable than a member of the Assembly.
From Duelin.
I suppose there's nothing his lordship would do without consulting Duelin. He's always been his top man. Maybe you're right. I'm just a warrior. I've always tried to stay out of these noble politics. If I find out this whole thing was some flunky of Balin's lying to me for his own gain, I'll...
Get back in the proving and knock some heads?
Maybe I will at that.
Okay. Well, he's been taken care of. Now to go get those letters. Hello?
Got it.
Perhaps I could have a try at that.
Hello?
Guards, remove this intruder.
Piotin.
This area is off limits. Combatants only.
You've been threatening Hermon's fighters.
Is that an accusation? It's illegal to threaten proving fighters outside the ring.
Not helping them keep their dirty secrets, though. That's another story.
I'd like to see those letters.
I bet you would.
Just tell Basil Hermont to fight.
Then you'll see them. On the front page of a broadsheet.
Come on, Luke John. We have a fight to prepare for.
On it.
Go away. I don't talk to admirers until after.
The proving's almost starting. I should leave if you haven't found anything.
I have your letters right here. How much are these letters worth to you?
You have them? If you can keep those letters from the public eye, I would gladly gift you with a finder's fee. Say, 10 sovereigns?
Is that all her life is worth? I'll take 15.
I certainly can't argue with that logic. Here you are. Now pardon me, there's little time left to rejoin the proving. Thank you again, friend.
The proving will begin shortly. I'm sure you can find a place in the stands. Or were you here to take part in the fight?
I'd like to hear more about who's fighting.
Well, with politics what they are, many combatants are dedicating their fights to either Prince Balin or Lord Heremont, mostly Balin. It's a regular parade of past winners out there. Piotr Naidukan always leads a battle unit. He's the prince's cousin. Miaja and Luke John are twins from the warrior caste. They fight together, put on a good show. They'll all be in their chambers if you want to talk.
I'd like to fight as Lord Heremont's champion.
Well, that's a surprise. Never thought the Grey Wardens would take an interest in our king. Let me just put you into the schedule here. Now, is there a particular name you wish listed?
Robert of the Grey Wardens.
We'll just call you Grey Warden, seeing as those human names are a real burr to pronounce. We actually have an opening in the first round. Are you ready to start?
Who will I be fighting?
Looks like Suwern's drawn first bout. He was one of the youngest champions ever. Beat his own father at 12 years old. All for the right to earn his battle status 2 years early. Are you ready to start?
What are the rules of the proving?
Fight start at the gong and go to first blood. No eye gouging, no groin pulls. The rules of each bout will be announced when it starts. You should be comfortable with normal weapons and lyrium-enhanced weapons, in single combat, pairs, or battle units. Are you ready to start?
Ready and eager.
That's what I like to hear. I will warn you, though. This is your last chance to make preparations or meet the competition. Once the fights begin, there are no new additions to the roster. All withdrawals are treated as losses and a sign of the ancestors' disfavor. Do you want to start, or would you like some time? The fighters' quarters are behind the ring.
I'll be back in a moment.
Come back soon. You'll be fighting the bout as soon as both fighters are ready.
Just double check. Alright.
Remember, once the fight begins, the roster is fight. Go down to the ring then. I'll be right there. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. First up is Suwern of the warrior caste. Many of you remember when Sewern made history as a lad of 12 by defeating his own father in this very ring. Today, he fights as a champion for Prince Balin. Opposing him, in Lord Harrowmont's name, is a member of the famed Grey Wardens.
In the name of House Iduken and our future King Balin.
You honor me with this fight.
First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight!
Now's better than later.
Hopeless! Excellent!
The winner is the Grey Warden! That was an exciting start, Warden. Sewern is rarely trounced, and so thoroughly. Are you ready for your next opponent?
Who is my next opponent?
Next, you're up against Miaja and Lukejan. As twins, they've always been allowed to fight as a single person. They're warrior caste, but their mother was a smith, so watch out for Miaja's hammer. And don't forget Lukejan. Most fighters do, and end up with a knife in their spine. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right then, I'll see you out there. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the Paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. This round, Harrowmont's champion takes on the notorious duo, the warrior caste twin terrors, now fighting for Prince Balin, Miaja and Lukejan.
May the stone honor you.
When you fall.
And may the dirt taste good when I feed it to you.
First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight!
I see enemies. Your heads.
More blood!
The winner is the Grey Warden! Well, that was an exciting bout. 2-on-1, and you took them both easily. Are you ready for your next opponent?
Who is my next opponent?
Well, this bout should be quick and dirty. You'll be fighting Hanashan, one of the legendary Silent Sisters. She's a ferocious fighter, and dedicated enough to cut out her own tongue. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right then, I'll see you out there. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the Paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. Harrowmont's champion has held the field so far, but how will he do against one of the legendary Silent Sisters? We'll find out as the Warden faces Lady Hanashan, who proved her worth to Paragon Ashtith the Grey by cutting out her own tongue. And to our Prince Balin by fighting in his name.
Good luck to you.
First warrior to fall is vanquished. Fight!
Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back?
The winner is the Grey Warden! Harrowmont will be pleased, Warden. The Silent Sister support was a great boost for Balin. Are you ready for your next opponent?
Who is my next opponent?
This should be a good match. You'll battle Wojek Ivo, master of all weapons, prisoner of none. He makes it a point never to use the same technique twice. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
All right then, I'll see you out there. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the Paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. This round is paired combat. Just as Kiatchet fought as King Bloodlik II defending our empire, so have dwarves always fought alongside a second. Master of all weapons, prisoner of none, Wojek Ivo has never won the same way twice. What will he do today, lords and ladies? And will it win the day for Prince Balin? Grey Warden, Choose your second, for you face Wojciech Ivo and Valans.
I choose Basil.
You honor me.
Last one standing will be declared victor. Fight! The winner is the Grey Warden! Wojciech Ivo is one of the best this arena has seen, Warden. Haremont picked wisely. Are you ready for your next opponent?
Which is who?
This is the championship round. A full squad-on-squad combat. Piotr Naidukin leads the same team he's taken to victory in over a dozen Deep Roads expeditions. Are you ready to face the final test?
Yes.
May the ancestors choose wisely. This is a glory proving, fought under the eyes of the paragons of Orzammar to honor the memory of King Endrin. Only 2 warriors remain. Fighting for his royal cousin Balin, Piotr Naidukin has led his team to triumph over every unit so far. Challenging him on behalf of Lord Haremont, the Grey Warden has risen from nothing to stand at the competition summit. Each will lead a full unit of 4 soldiers to see once and for all whom the ancestors favor.
You fight well, but your judgment is questionable. The throne will never leave House Naidukin.
Basil, Gwydon, join me for this triumph.
You honor me.
Last one standing will be declared victor. Fight! The winner is the Grey Warden! Congratulations! You defeated the man Prince Trian himself once called the Horns of my army. Do you deny this Grey Warden has earned the championship? Then it is my honor to declare this Grey Warden champion of the Proving, who has shown that the ancestors favor Lord Haremont.
Are we done then? Because I could use a drink.
Spoken like a true warrior.
Okay. I'm looking for Vartag.
That was an excellent showing. We were honored by your...
I don't see him.
Such sinister glares do you a disservice, dear Morrigan. Yours should be a face that smiles.
Do tell.
Has no one told you? Perhaps that is not surprising, considering you have lived such a sheltered life. Were you a woman of the city, you would be accustomed to men showering you with praise and gifts.
I know as much of men as I need to. I know when one is indulging in pointless flattery, for instance.
It is flattery only if I exaggerate the truth to please you. I am but stating a simple fact.
Tell me, does this work on other women?
I think any woman would like to hear the truth of how her beauty affects a man. Do you not?
I think that sort of manure is best reserved for farming.
Ah, one day you will realize that you have wasted your youth and beauty on bitterness and suspicion. Mark my words.
Remind me to bring you along if we go sailing. The hot air will prove useful.
I will never get tired of the banter in this game.
Grey Warden arrives in Orzammar.
Lord Haramont is a weak man, and he will be a weak king. Yes.
You need to get better at that. I hope I didn't do this wrong.
You're awfully bold, walking right up to me after coming out against Prince Balin and the Proving. You do know who I am, right? I'm Vartag Gavorn, the prince's chief advisor.
Look. Just hear me out. I can explain.
Explain what? That you just realized what a puling imbecile Haramad is, and want to throw your lot in with a winner?
And now Haramont trusts me, unlike your other spies.
I see your point. Had you come to us first, Haramont would have suspected you. But now, he has no reason to think you're anything other than his champion, on the proving grounds and off.
There are not enough of you for all the alliances you make.
I'm just keeping our options open.
You will have to choose eventually.
Isn't it obvious I have chosen to serve Balin?
Obvious.
So, it's agreed then? You will infiltrate Haramont's ranks for us?
I will need Balin's support in return.
For your treaty, right? I heard about that. Sure. If Balin's king, he'll help you against the Blight. If it turns out you helped him get there. If you really want Balin's trust, you'll have to prove your loyalty to Haramont is just an act. What has he asked you to do next?
He hasn't told me yet.
Then find out and come tell me. If you want to be of use to the prince, this is your chance to prove it. And stay away from Lord Helmy and Lady Dace. I'm sure we can find a better way to prove your worth. I look forward to seeing you again.
There we go. Talk to Haramont to find out what he wants you to do next. So let's go find Doolin. And he'll take us to see Haramont.
Legion of the Dead Warriors secretly wear Prince Balin's colors. Our prince has Orzammar's deadliest warriors behind him.
Lord Balin suspected of personally defacing statues of the Paragons. Shocking allegations abound.
Can I get you a ladder so you can get off my back?
By the way, I just want to remind you guys what they say in the wiki here about reminding people about the stances that these two are. How the wiki describes the two candidates here, Balin and Haramont. Comparing the candidates. There are plenty of Orzammar denizens who will explain their opinions on the candidates. Walking around and talking to people will give you a general idea of what they are like. However, for the short version, Balin is the radical progressive candidate. He believes the ends justify the means. He wants to encourage trade, and he allows the casteless dwarves to fight. Haramont is the traditionalist candidate. He believes in honorable conduct. He is a strong proponent of tradition, and he leans more towards isolationism. Now, some disagree with that, but that is how the game and such are done. However, it is worth noting that this was done back then, and, well, some of this has actually been retconned. Because, remember, at the time they were doing this, there was no intention of doing any sequels. But once the sequels started being developed and made, they kind of had to change some things. So, anyways.
Atrasvala, champion. I hear your performance in the proving was nothing short of amazing. I must thank you for bringing both Baisel and Guidon back into the fight. His lordship was touched to see his old friends stand for him. There can no longer be any doubt where your sympathies lie. If you're ready, Lord Harrowmont will see you now.
Lead the way.
His lordship is looking forward to meeting you. His lordship appreciates your support.
I appreciate what you have done, Warden, and I apologize for putting one of your rank through such trials. I am Lord Pyral Harrowmont, and I thank you for your efforts to help me preserve King Endrin's throne.
You know, Balin says that you're trying to usurp his family's rights.
No one is born with rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the assembly ultimately decides who will rule. Balin has lost nothing that ever belonged to him, and nothing that his own father thought he should have.
But why would Endrin prefer you over his own son?
You may not know the story, but Balin is actually the youngest of three. Endrin's eldest, Trian, was murdered in the Deep Roads not a year ago. His middle son was found standing over the body and was exiled. But I've always found it suspicious that Balin knew just where to look. Endrin loved his sons too much to voice such suspicions. But he knew Balin's only interest in ruling was to further his own power.
I mean, it's also to push forth change for There's a saying that there's a quote that I actually heard that actually made me realize that this kind of, to me, helps kind of describe what Balin is basically doing to the dwarves of Orzammar. Because, let's be honest, the dwarves of Orzammar are kind of stuck and stagnant in their old traditional ways. And it's to their own detriment, but they kind of refuse to see and believe that because they think their traditional ways. Like, remember the Shaper? It was like, 2,000 years of tradition. Like, that's, to them, is what it's important. While Balin is saying, no, we need to do away with that, or else we are not going to survive. And there's a quote that Rex actually says in Mass Effect 2 that I think actually helps kind of describe what Balin is doing here. It's what he says to the other Krogan who is the traditionalist, who doesn't want Grunt to join and doesn't like that Rex is doing all this radical change to the Krogan people, and it goes against tradition. Sound familiar? So Rex says, I will drag your clan to glory whether it likes it or not. And to me, that quote kind of describes what Balin is doing here. I know this is strange, but I'm actually comparing Rex to Balin, and Balin to Rex, in the sense that they are anti-tradition, and they want to pull their races and people forward into a more modern, non-traditional way to help them actually survive, because they recognize their old traditional ways are actually to their own detriment. And many of the others just simply will not acknowledge this or admit this or see it for themselves. And these guys like Rex and Balin are saying, we have to change, and I'm going to bring you forward with that change whether you like it or not. Because in the end, it's what's best for us. That's kind of how I see it. While Harrowmont, in at least at the time this game was made, again, yes, this has been retconned since, but at the time this was made, Harrowmont is the one who is like the Shaperead, where he believes in tradition and furthering isolating the dwarves from the rest of the world. while Balin wants to encourage trade with the surface world and others. And that's one of the reasons why my warden wants to end up supporting him, because his goal is to be on the throne alongside Anora, ruling all of Ferelden. And wouldn't he want to be able to have some nice political connections with the King of Orzammar and Balin? He won't have that with Harrowmont. But I'm sure Balin would very much like to be able to open trade connections and other political connections between himself and the Warden, who helped him become king, and then becomes, I know, Prince Consort, but, you know what I mean. That's kind of the endgame goal here for my Warden here, and why he wants to support Balin, so that he can prevent them from being isolated and actually have more trade and political connections with the Dwarves of Orzammar. Can't get that with Harrowmont. So you believe you would be a better king than Balin?
I have never sought the throne. My role was to serve Endrin, first as his advisor, then as an elected Desher in the Assembly. Harrowmont has never been king, and I always assumed Trian would rule after his father. But both Endrin and my colleagues have asked me to step up, and I will not back down when Orzammar needs me.
So the Assembly has more power than the king does?
The Assembly represents the voices of the wisest, most noble families. While we need a single king to preside over important functions and lead us in battle, the Assembly better represents all in Orzammar.
All I want is your support against the Blight.
For us, the Darkspawn are a constant menace, so a Blight may not elicit the same urgency you are used to. Ultimately, the Assembly decides what troops to send. If they no longer fear civil war, they'll have no reason to hold back. If you want my support to count, I will have to be king. And right now, there is no sure way to get there. Have you heard of a woman named Jarvia and the criminal Carter she runs?
Now, this is interesting when you come here as a Dwarven commoner, since of course the commoner would have a bone to pick with Jarvia. I take them out, you take the credit. Is that the plan?
I'm glad you're so eager. If you help me shut her down, we can show the Assembly I am the right king to defend Orzammar. Jarvia hides her base in Dusttown, the raw edges of the city where no one lives but castless and criminals. If you would help me in this, it would show the Assembly that I, and not Balin, have the ability to defend and rule this city.
I'll deal with Jarvia. Just be ready to help.
Do this, and I promise if I take the throne, I will not stop until the Assembly sends your troops. Look for Jarvia in Dusttown. Do whatever it takes to see that justice is served.
All right. Now we go back to Vartag and let him know. We'll talk to Vartag and then I'll cut this off.
News of the hour. Lord Harrowmont, proven to be working with surfacers. His betrayal of dwarven values exposed.
Harrowmont has suckered the warden. Balin will not allow it.
Did you talk to Harrowmont? What does he want you to do?
He wants me to stop the Carta.
That's a good plan. If he can claim credit for stopping the Carta, Harrowmont will be in golden with a lot of Deshers. It's a little odd, though, given his associations with Dusttown smugglers.
So are you wanting me to claim that it was Balin who stopped her?
No, that won't be necessary. Let Harrowmont claim he was behind it. It will be hard enough to believe him when I have solid evidence his cousin supplies the Carta with their lyrium.
I don't understand.
These papers show ties between the Carta and young Harville Harrimont. If you ensure they are found in Jarvia's possession, I guarantee the Prince will want to talk to you. And don't bother looking for Lord Helmy and Lady Dace. This is a far better way to prove your worth.
You already said that. Eliminate Jarvia. Alright, so... Put a stop to Jarvia and her Carta. You need to find a way into Jarvia's hideout. Some clues in Dust Town. Eliminate Jarvia. However, once that's done, plant papers in Jarvia's personal effects on or near her corpse. Alright, so we will be heading to Dust Town to try and take out Jarvia and the Carta. Stay tuned.